G'day everyone, welcome to the Profitable Practice Podcast. Today we're actually here in Tokyo, Japan with three of my favourite people, the Okazaki family. They're already in shot and we're having a little bit of a discussion here just really quickly because it's a spur of the moment podcast that we're now doing visually as well. And Cedric feels like he's not prepared and it's pretty casual. I mean, we're just in shirt. We don't even have shoes on. And we're going to just delve today into the fact that Ken started his company, and we're going to start to have a bit of a look at how the three of these guys, and Natasha's here as Ken's wife, and the brains of the thing, let's be honest. Cedric, son number one, other children involved, other team members involved, and the way they've actually brought it together as a family unit in a really close-knit team is amazing, but there's been some challenges and we wanted to be able to investigate those and get some real good gold nuggets for a lot of you guys that are working with husband, wife, partner, maybe spouse-to-be, etc., and making sure that you guys can get the learnings that they've been through to make sure that you can build, grow, thrive in your health business without as many turbulent times. So there you go, guys. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And welcome to Japan.
Yeah, well, I love being back here. A couple of times back, we always joke and say that it's I'm a Jozzy, a Japanese Aussie. So it's good. It's good fun. Love working with you guys. So let's get stuck straight in.
Yeah.
Ken, I'm gonna hit you up with the first one. Obviously, just give us a quick little background as to life for you, business-wise, and sort of the overall sort of side of things over the last 5 years, 10 years.
Wow, I'm going to give the really compressed version.
Absolutely.
First, I do want to make an annotation to her being the brains. I would say that her heart is so big, she's also the heart of the company. Everybody goes to her when they have stuff they want to share, and she gets people to share and all that. So I just want to give her the brains and the heart. But,
and the beauty too, I'll just put that in too.
Yeah, okay. This guy brains stuff.
Yeah. Stop it, kids.
So, long story short, I was in a personal development seminar business. Not the speaker. I'd bring speakers from other countries, and we'd bring a lot, several thousand people together. And after doing that for a few years, long story short, I decided I didn't want to do that. I asked myself a question one day, and it went somewhere along the lines of, if I was doing this 5 years from now, would I be happy? And that thought scared me. If I was just, constantly stressed about, filling rooms, making sales, and it just never ends. And for some people, they do really well in that kind of environment. It wasn't for me. So I quit that business, and then I decided I wanted to do something I actually enjoyed, which is making video. Traveling, making video, and the one part of the seminar business that I did love was hanging out with really successful people, speakers who I got to invite to come to my stage. So I wanted to have that too, so I started an agency where we do video marketing for influencers, authors, speakers, that kind of thing.
And for those that don't know Ken's magician when it comes to the video side of things, the ability to make eyes pop, ambush eyeballs with all his social media videos, etc., and it's pretty special with what he does. So it's sort of a bit of a pretty smart thing for you to turn to, right?
It took a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
But we've done several thousand videos. I think over 4,000 at the last count. And the thing is that it's constantly evolving. But toward the beginning, I was just making promo videos, what everybody wants, the sizzle reel, making the events look like a party all the time, smiling faces. And everybody loved those.
Politician style, kissing babies in there.
Everybody loved those, but the only problem is that it was really hard to quantify if they were actually helping the business or not. It's all PR. PR is important, but I realized that I needed to have another conversation, not with the CEO who wanted to be the star and on stage, but also with the CFO who's always thinking, what's the ROI? So then I started learning a lot more about marketing and how can we get a certain amount of leads through the video views. So the videos started getting shorter, a little, much less production that goes into each one, but it was all about a quick pace, grabbing attention, getting people to watch till the end, getting them to make a micro commitment, and doing that in mass. And that's how we kind of built up our agency over a couple years' time.
Well, now we're starting to move into running different social media marketing strategies. That's obviously one of Cedric's main areas on the marketing side and the automation side, but also not just on video marketing, but also online courses and educational componentry is coming along really nicely now as well.
Yeah, literally tomorrow is when we launch our online course.
Yeah.
And Jason, you help give us some great guidance toward how to structure that. What someone typically like you might want, and that helped us a lot. But Natasha and Cedric in particular, they joined me, what was it, 18 months ago maybe? About a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And I did build up the agency once, and I had a studio in Tokyo and an office. And for a lot of different reasons, actually my staff there, my team there, they followed me for my seminar business. And I said, guys, I don't like this anymore. I'm gonna do this other thing. And they said, okay, we want to support you. And they joined me. But one by one, they all kind of realized that, like they joined a seminar company and now they're trying to make video.
Yeah.
And they, as much as I honor their loyalty and their desire to want to help me, it wasn't a good fit. So eventually, one by one, they all kind of filtered out. And what kind of organically happened is my wife came on to help me. My son, who had no idea he was a marketer, I took him to a business conference once. I think you were actually there.
I was actually there, yeah.
And someone shared something about something called a chatbot. Cedric gets back to the hotel room and he starts hacking away. He's like, there's this thing called a chatbot. And then one thing after the other, and then he realizes a few months later, he's actually really good at this stuff. Really good at figuring out how to put all these different digital online components and connect them and to augment the experience of the customer and automate that. It's absolutely way more than I'm doing it all myself. I'm really about the visual part of things, and he's really great at systems. Rubina, my daughter, who's not here right now, she's finished high school. She was 16, wasn't it? Yeah, she finished really early, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to do college, university or not. And I said, look, while you're in between, come work for me. And when you figure stuff out, then if you want to go to college, I'll support you there. If you want to do something else, that's fine. But in the meantime, don't twiddle your thumbs. And I got her to come here, and she's my creative director. She does the graphics design. She does original artwork even for her stuff. Maybe you've seen some of it.
Absolutely.
My wife.
We'll probably make sure there's a little bit of a...
we'll do a montage.
We'll make sure there's a B-roll in place, and you can actually see some of the points of culture and that type of stuff that have been put together recently. And you can actually see in this side some of the details up the top here of the superpowers of each of the team members and that have been put together as well. And we've got, I was going to grab some other stuff that was just here beside me a minute ago, but it's not now. But yeah, she's pretty creative. She is. So it's a really great team, putting together a lot of strengths. And if I can sort of, not wanting to sound rude by this, but the weaknesses that you actually have are really nicely complemented by the team, which is fantastic, because as a business owner in that situation, that's what you want, right? But it's also there because you've also got other strengths with team members. Yeah. And I work with a lot of different teams, and I think it's a really unique situation that you guys have when there's no real significant clashes now. We know there's been some challenges and some speed bumps and that type of stuff along the way, and there's a few little smiles going around the room here. Well, they might be more of a grimace, but if I can, I just want to press on the pain point a little bit here for a bit. Let's be completely honest about it. You guys are blood, right? Yep. So there's a lot of intricacies that come around through teams that are involving, family members. Let's be honest, and I work with quite a few, and even if they're a sole trader or they're husband and wife isn't directly involved with the business, a lot of health business owners will finish up and they take their business home with them. Yep. And it doesn't even have to be physically taking notes home, or you're not taking dumbbells home. You're actually taking the burden of everything coming home, and it's challenging, right? Absolutely. So I just wanted to, and it might be something that you guys jump in here. I'd love to just know what were probably the biggest 2 or 3 challenges or problems, catastrophes. Let's get graphic if we need to. What were the 2 or 3 biggest challenges in and around working with you?
One thing that is kind of funny is, Natasha used to work as a teacher, and before she joined my team, I had a lot of convincing to do to get her to quit her old job and work for me. But I used to come home, and she used to say, "How was your day?" I'm like, "It's fine," and I thought that's a good enough answer, but she wanted a detailed report. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know.
A conversation.
She wanted to know what's going on, right? Which
is
fair enough, right? Yeah. But now it's like when we go home, I don't need to do the debrief with her. Hey, Alina.
Hi. We've got another family member and team member sneaking in the background here. Come and join us.
You're on camera. So this is my youngest one, Alina. Our youngest one.
Youngest, oldest.
Yeah, 21 and 11. So it's 10 years. 6 years.
Absolutely.
But what I was saying is the debrief is not there. But I have to admit that sometimes when I actually made the effort to tell her what happened that day when she wasn't with me, then those are probably some of the conversations where we actually reconnected, in a non-business way. Whereas now I feel like, well, she already knows it, so why do that? And I think that, maybe I'm not making as much effort as I used to, because we just feel like we're always around each other. So why do I need to, give her the catch up on stuff?
Yeah. So in some respects, what I'm sensing from that is it's not actually always just a negative, and I'd probably painted that picture originally that working with family members is going to have a lot of different challenges, which it can quite obviously, but you're actually highlighting the fact that there's actually a huge amount of positive side of things by doing that in many respects without having to, you're already engaging at that high level more frequently without having that whole don't want to burden my wife in this situation. True?
That's true.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one might be for me the amount of different roles I get confused about playing sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, the lover, the husband, the provider, the team member, the coach. Like the list doesn't end, right? The designer,
The father.
Yeah.
The father. Yeah.
So
we'll go into a few of these. We won't go into the lover part because Cedric will just get a little bit whacked out.
Sorry, I was in the mode of talking about my wife. I'm just like, oh yeah, Cedric's here too. Keep that in mind. Well, but just all the different dynamics, and it's not like they all just kind of fuse one into the other. Switching on and off from one to the other is sometimes it's a conscious thing. It doesn't come naturally.
Absolutely.
Expected sometimes.
So I'm going to actually swing over to you guys. I'd love to hear from yourselves. Let's get guts and glory if we need to. Like, what were the biggest challenges that you guys had coming into husband's team, dad's team type of situation? It's not Ken's team anymore. You don't work for him. He actually works for you guys just as much as what you guys do for him. It's a really great team effort, great dynamic. Give us some of the guts earlier on. What were some of the biggest challenges that you guys faced?
I think it was mostly around like focus. When we're trying to, you're talking to somebody like he's your dad, but at the same time it's like he's also your boss, and then you're trying to talk about this. Sometimes I'll be, for example, trying to talk about something that I did that I'm proud of, and then I'll bring it up like, hey, check this out. But then if you're talking to a boss about it like that, it's more of a that's not really something you do unless it's like so kind of getting those two things mixed up every now and then. Where
wearing the different hats.
Yeah, so like some things you're supposed to you don't really do at work, and some things you do. I don't know, just a little bit of like.
Do you think that's more of a mentality based in and around the fact that that's what perception is, that between a boss and a staff member as opposed to?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I think what I'm talking about as a challenge is what it can be met with. Where
absolutely.
If he's in boss mode, which he would be at work, then maybe sometimes he wouldn't listen like a dad.
Yeah.
But then that's understandable. So it's like kind of just a little bit of getting in the flow of like understanding how that works. I guess.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, I reckon there's a few nice little challenges.
There's a few.
It's a safe space. No one's listening. No one's watching. We're all just sitting here chatting, right? So let's hear it, Tash.
Well,
Biggest challenge.
I think the biggest challenge, I guess, because I'm kind of the manager of the team, and I often would put the things that I needed to be talked about or the things that I needed to be discussed on the back burner because I know what everybody else is doing as the manager. So I know everybody's got their plates full and everything, they're up to here with what they have to do, and I didn't want to impose.
Didn't want to interrupt or
so then that would make me feel more frustrated because I kept it all in, and I wouldn't say anything until I couldn't handle it anymore, and then I would blow up.
Explode. Yeah.
And they're like, "Why did you say something?" Well.
Yeah.
So that's.
So communication's pretty.
Communication, but also like I guess making sure that every department has their voice heard, not just like just because I'm the mom or the wife or whatever, I don't put myself lower. I put myself at the same level because my job in the company is just as important as anybody else's. It's just, you know,
absolutely.
In that way. So.
And we did a lot of work with you guys in regards to trying to get like clear delineation of roles in place so that everyone, you know, knew where we needed to be. How was it with Ken? A bit of a challenge to try and say back off at times, or?
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
He needs to have his mittens on, so he
Got
can't.
the fingerless mittens now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're called gloves.
Yeah.
But, and that's something you
Getting
guys
there.
do. Yeah.
That's definitely.
But I did hand off a few things, you know. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that. I think that my thinking is shifting, and there are things that I'm making way more effort to do. But I know that
It's a
I
challenge,
don't
right?
think it's ever going to be mastered. I think it's a constant.
Yeah, and it's something as a business owner, particularly someone who's fairly high, you know, D personality, like with your behavioural type. It's hard to always to just completely let go, right?
Yeah, I'm all D's and I's.
Yeah, so am I. 99 and adaptive 99. So, let me ask this: give us all the people that are listening or watching 2 or 3 take homes that you guys found really successful. What are 2 or 3 things that you guys put into play that have had massive results on the team, working with family members to gain momentum and really start to drive forward?
I think the first one that I think personally I saw the biggest change in was actually after working with you, we had this one exercise we did where we kind of just like drew up on the board a bunch of different tasks that we had floating around, and then you just kind of separated them into groups and called those people captains, right? Anybody who was in charge of a specific task or a specific project, they were called the captain of that project, right? And so then it becomes less of this person's a CEO, this person's a marketing director, this person's a manager, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, those are just like a little bit ambiguous at times when it comes to specific detailed projects, right? So then if you separated them into let's say captains, and then everybody just sort of chooses who they think is the most reliable person or the most appropriate person to have as a captain on that task, and unanimous decisions at most times.
We did that actually basically blindfolded as such, didn't we? We had you guys with the eyes closed and pointing at who you felt was the creative director.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who was the running the operations? Who was
what's funny is actually after you left, we had the big project that we were working on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing the same thing. We said,
Yeah.
oh, well, Jason did that, so let's just do that.
Yeah.
And we had Satan
Hey, it worked once,
watching,
let's
and
try
he
it
does
again,
okay,
right?
and he did the whole.
Yeah, awesome.
After that, we just transferred it all to Trello, and then we all had our tasks.
And that's
And
when
actually,
we worked.
that's since before that, we have one more team member named Satan, who's not a relative, but I didn't realize how underutilized he was until he became captain of equipment and B-roll and things like that.
Yeah.
And since then,
all the equipment before shoots, after shoots,
Used to be.
And I can say now,
I
in the
used
last
to
5
spend
weeks,
so much time setting up and taking down and just like pointing here, pointing there. And now there's I think about 80% of that's like offloaded.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and each time we do it, he can do it a little bit more and a little bit more, and soon.
Well, it's a great way of empowering team members, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, that's why we use captains. We don't use the manager type scenario, because any of that, and you're saying, Cedric, like it creates a hierarchy-based approach, isn't it? You got the CEO and then the director or the manager of, and it's just rubbish terms. But if everyone's the team and on equal footing, then you each have your own place in regards to the captain. So you've got your creative director, which I believe is Ruby's role, isn't it? Yeah, and so. All of those sort of not final decisions, but the structure and the responsibility and accountability comes down to that person. And Seita's in that situation where we've been able to obviously increase his workload, get a lot more productivity and efficiency and effectiveness out of him as well. But also that's been a really good way to actually pull you out of that, to realise that you don't have to do the whole do, because he's actually going to turn around and just make things run, right? So I think that's actually that's a fantastic, well done. What else? What else has been?
Well, every Monday, the team is kind of in the mind frame that Monday morning meetings will be a little longer because we will actually be planning out the whole week, like everybody's general goals for the week, So that has been working well. We get Trello on the TV and we, go through what everybody's going to be doing. And so it's kind of, everybody is more aware of what everybody else is doing because, we integrated all that into the system, and it flows more. And also, like I said, I had a hard time getting his attention on the little details here and there because, he's a creative guy and he doesn't like to sit down and do all the
rainbows
he
and
likes to do the
unicorns, right?
fun stuff,
But
the other little things that need to get done he doesn't like so much, but
like 99% of the business.
Yeah. Well, the little things and the stuff that I take care of but need his approval or his help on. So we have a very faithfully a Tuesday meeting together.
Till today.
Well,
we
pushed it because of you, but yeah.
So I'm the disruptor, thank you.
But just having that time and making it official, it's actually in the calendar and it's blocked off so nobody can book calls with him at that time, has been a real saver.
So getting the default diary right, taking control. Actually, you took control of the diary, wasn't it? It was like, this is going to happen, block it in, make it happen, and force him to sit his butt down and make things happen when it needs to be. So, which I think also comes down to the communication side and the role that you play as well, and having that delineation in play. Let's do this. What would be the biggest gold nugget from each of you guys? If I could just ask for one gold nugget for everyone listening, for those that are working with a relative or a family member, there's a lot of extra, I guess, potential for negativity, pent up, not talking, not communicating, things like that, and maybe snapping and not sort of treating people the right way, etc. What would be like, a big gold nugget that you guys could each give for everyone in that situation?
I think time at work with your family shouldn't replace other time off work. Like, just because you're together, it's not the same quality of time, or it's not the same type of connection. So, sometimes I forget that. And the times I do catch up on the weekends, I feel so much better about it. And it actually makes work more efficient, So there's an efficiency thing, but your family feels more loved, they feel more like supporting you feel more like supporting them. And just it's not one or the other, you still need both.
And can I say, in regards to myself, I know that that's true as well. I actually find that when I'm actually away and I'm overseas traveling a fair bit, and I'm actually more efficient when I'm away, because you only have the small snippet of time to get that done, and you don't have time to just, things just tend to stretch out a little bit, and unfortunately to the detriment of your own family, because it's always the family time with kids or husband, wives, etc., that actually then always suffers. So that's a good one, mate. Well done. What have we got?
I think for me, I would say the biggest one is like having, just voicing things, because when it comes to being a family, sometimes, you want to like tell yourself that you're supposed to be in these certain roles of like, don't talk about things. If it's bothering you, then bring it up. Or like if you feel like it's, something should be a different way, bring it up. Because in the end, like, you're heard more than, you're actually heard more. I mean, it's family, right? In the end.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think when I first started working here, there was a lot more of just like, do the work, and then if I felt different about it, I wouldn't really talk about it too much. But then I started, noticing that kind of, bother me every now and then. And I think, especially as I started taking on more of like a bigger role with the company, then I started realizing that, I had good insight on things. Maybe there's some things I was good at that like other people can't do as well, So then I started, voicing things more, bringing things to the table, and then, in the end, everybody.
And we do that in a structured way as well, because
exactly.
We've got the meetings in the morning, and everyone goes through in regards to three things as to where you're at, where you need to be at, what do you need to do to achieve that. So everyone's accountable for delivering, but it also means you've got an avenue to do a whiffle in the morning as well as to what you feel like expressing, so people openly know where you're at emotionally, personally and professionally. But you've also got the avenue to open up and actually ask for help. Hey, here's what I'm focusing on, but I really need time with Ruby to do X, Y, and Z. So absolutely really clear communication, being honest and not being afraid to talk has been a fantastic one for you guys. Well done. Natasha.
Well, I think they stole it.
They stole your thunder.
I guess the very main thing, is communication and learning when is the right time to voice it also. Like, there's know when is the right time, but also not to keep things in because it builds up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as busy as we are, and we have all our goals and everything, if we can't share what's on our heart, then in the end things go down quick because
Yeah.
there's just unhappiness and frustration, and it builds up. Yeah. Okay.
And let's be honest, there's been a massive amount of business over the years that have collapsed because the relationship at home's collapsed, or vice versa. The business still survives, but the partnership at home has disappeared.
Yeah.
So it's something that's it's a lot harder, and it's something that's not talked about in the business world either.
Yeah, no, I gotta admit, a lot of times I wonder sometimes, how long. Like I've been through a couple businesses before, and then this is the first time where I've run it's like a family business. So I keep wondering, what's the next step? How long can we keep going the way we are, and when do we need to shift to more corporate style, or so.
Well, the challenge is, do you need to though?
Yeah, do we need to? That's the other question too.
So if you switch to the corporate side, the first thing you can do is change to more of a hierarchy-based approach, which we know was part of the challenging process in the first place. Although there is a lot more clear direction as to where everyone's going and what their roles are, so it would be an easier shift to push further back into that direction if that's what you choose to do. So
yeah, and it's not necessarily that. All I'm thinking is what is the next? There's always a next level, So what that looks like for us is something that's on my mind a lot.
Work in progress, huh?
Yeah, I think it'll happen organically. I don't think that we're gonna say, hey, from now on everybody wears a suit and tie, and you're gonna have security badges and all that. That's not likely to happen. But organically, there might be little things that we do to add efficiency and systems. We are adding systems a lot. This guy especially, he's great at designing them. So we are getting more organized, more streamlined, and ultimately what it does is it helps us have a lot of less friction between us and less manual work. So yeah, who knows what the future holds?
Absolutely. And the thing is, you guys have made some very small changes at times, but they've had a very profound impact on your business moving forward. We've got some really good strong points of culture, we've got some really good structures in place, our communication flows there, set meeting times, default diaries, everything's nicely in play, nice roles, clarity of direction, and everyone's just really stepped up, and the momentum even just in literally 5 weeks.
Has it been 5 weeks?
It's been 5 weeks since we rolled out the new approach, and it's pretty crazy, yeah. But even on that, yeah, well that's the thing, that's the momentum, isn't it? We've launched new products, you've done huge amounts of sales, you've had massive amount of growth, we've had a big, a big pivot in one direction for the company as a whole, and things are starting to just go gangbusters.
I think a lot of the things that helped us shift are the untangible things, you helped me to see things from a different angle that would have been hard for me to take if Cedric said, hey Dad, sit down, this is how it's got to be, or my wife or my daughter or my other team member. It wouldn't have been the same than if somebody who I know you've had years of experience coaching dozens of businesses, and you flew all the way here, and I'm then it's different. And besides, that's what it took for me, and it just helped me to see and value other people's opinions a lot more. Just realize that we can't scale if I keep trying to do everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not only that, eventually these guys are going to feel dissatisfied,
frustrated,
probably eventually leave. And that would kill me if that happened. So.
And I can tell you now, it's not an eventual. It happens a hell of a lot quicker than what people think. Yeah, people get very frustrated and disenfranchised very, very quickly in that situation. So, yeah, kudos to you guys for being able to identify that, put the right things in place, and really start to smash it out of the ballpark. So, guys, I'm gonna leave it there because I know you guys are all a little bit scared to really open up and that type of stuff at times and that. But you guys need to know you've been doing a really, really great job. Onwards and upwards from here. And if you guys can do this amount of work in a 5-week period, then God help us all when 20 or 30 weeks further down the trail. So
yeah, I feel really good about the future, long term and short term. I really do.
Yeah, and it all started with the relationships with the team to start with, getting the momentum, and we go from there. So, guys, it's awesome. Thank you very, very much. I know our guys do a huge amount with a lot of people who've got a lot of different teams that have family members involved, and take some of the lessons from the Okazaki family here in Tokyo that are doing some really, really cool stuff and get the momentum and get things moving in the exact same way they have. We've turned the ship around massively in a 5-week period and they're going gangbusters. So you can do the same thing. Until next time, we hope you have a great day and good day.
Sayonara.
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 This is the insert special Japanese goodbye part here.
You missed the cue.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Matane.
See you guys. Have a great day. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.